Investors and traders, welcome to the channel. Market chart pattern today is 5th of August 2025. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Um, we'll be taking a look at the key US technology stocks in this video. This video is going to be a little bit shorter, so I'll try to cover quickly as many stocks as possible. Now 5th of August is really interesting because exactly last year, 2024, 5th of August, was when the markets put in a key bottom. So from 11th of July, the general markets in the US and also world over, they were actually in a falling quite aggressively. In the US, it was mainly because of the unwinding of the carry trade. We have got videos about that, but just an interesting date. It's exactly 1 year after that, and it's a different kind of circumstances now, but really interesting to see what's going on in the markets. As always, this video is for educational purposes only. It is not a financial advice. Okay, so let's start by taking a look at the chart of NVIDIA. This is the weekly chart. Of course, the week has just started, but it's also our Tech Tuesday. So we had a target of $170 per share for NVIDIA, and this is exactly what we got. In fact, last week the high came in as high as 183.30, so it actually overshot by about $13, but our target has been met. And we have got no more targets at the moment, so we're just watching the price action. So last week, you can see huge trading range week. The buyers and the sellers, they fought out throughout the week and just closed unchanged, and the week has just started, but the momentum seems to have picked up a little bit. But if you just take a look at this on the daily chart, you can see that this kind of candle formation, you know it looks more bearish at the moment. However, if you, from a momentum perspective, the price is still above the 20-day moving average, so the stock is actually quite strong. If it begins to get close below the 20-day moving average, this is when we can see a further pullback, maybe back into this where the 200-day moving average is around 135 levels. So that is a possibility for the NVIDIA stock. Now let's take a look at the stock of AMD. This is one stock we have been following very carefully. Thanks to a subscriber who actually asked for the chart pattern for the AMD stock, and we did our analysis, and we came up with this region of about 87, about 100 to 87. This was the kind of the region where we had the number of these patterns being completed. This big blue ABCD, the red one, this ABCD right here with an extended leg. And we have some expansions coming in right here as well. Not going into the details of the exact patterns. In the old videos archives, you can find those. And then we have seen a really nice rally. Now once it was able to get above especially this level on the weekly chart, this is the bearish symmetry, we knew that the stock was really strong because the bearish symmetry had been broken. So it was a kind of a different move, more of a trend move, a modern move which was taking place, especially as the market also began to close above the 38.2% retracement. So we have seen a really nice rally. It's up 136% since its lows, and the last time we saw something like this was in this stretch right here, where the market had actually gone up 138%, and then we saw a pretty big decline. Now there is a possibility, because the market is quite stretched, it doesn't mean it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that it cannot go even higher, but we are in this region that we are watching the price really carefully, because we could see some sort of a pullback appear in AMD stock, and here it will be our clue. This is on the daily chart, because if we just look at the kind of retracements that we have seen in this stock, you can see that this is the first. So this is the one of the retracement in this move. This was the biggest one. This one is identical. So if there is going to be a pullback, which also happened here, this was also an identical pullback. But if we begin to close below this, right here, this would be an indication that perhaps the characteristic of this move is changing, and it could mean that a further correction is underway, and we could see the stock perhaps form either an ABCD or some sort of a complex correction for this stock. Now our first retracement that we could in fact watch in that scenario will be the 38.2% retracement, which comes around the 142 level. So we'll be watching this, but right now the stock is strong above the 20-day moving average, is way above the 200-day moving average. Momentum is really strong, but once it begins to break this symmetry pattern formation, then we begin to get the clues that perhaps something more on the corrective side might be playing out. Okay, so this is what we are looking at. Now let's move to the weekly chart, and let's take a look at the chart of Microsoft. Here we go. So the Microsoft also achieved our target. So our target was, you can see, between 140 to 540 to 560. This is where we have this big massive ABCD completing, which is the CD leg is 1.618 times the AB leg, which is going back to the lows of March of 2020. And we were getting really bullish the stock right here, and the reason was mainly because of this symmetry, because it had retraced the entire 2022 bear market, and then we were also right at the 30.2% retracement level as well, which is the entire retracement of this low to the high that we had seen right here. And we were just getting this this level where the market was moving into, and this is exactly what we saw on the 7th of April. The market actually put in a bottom, and then we have seen a fantastic rally right at meeting our target. So our target has been met in Microsoft as well, and we are now just watching the price action, standing aside, and let's see what sort of action we get from the market. This is also when the Microsoft joined the 4 trillion club as well with NVDA. But if we look at, this is when the earnings came out. This is when we had this big, massive move. But really, investors took profits, and the day closed, on the low tick, and then the following was day market actually also closed lower. However, the momentum is really strong in the daily chart. This is where the 20-day moving average is. So I think we can see further consolidation. And in fact, if this 20-day moving average begins to break to the downside, we could have market come down $470 as well. We'll have to wait and see. So that will be an exact 38.2% retracement. Let's see what sort of level we get from here to here. So that's going to be around $475. So this is what we'll be watching. Getting below this, I think the 200-day moving average comes into the play. Getting below that, perhaps something else might be happening in the stock, but really strong stock right here. Now let's take a look at the stock of Google. Here we go. So in Google, what we see is actually a different kind of a pattern formation, because just a retracement. Microsoft went and made new all-time highs. So did the NVDA. But this one has just recovered it, and then now it's finding resistance from the 78.6% retracement. It could be thought of as a head and shoulder pattern, so left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So there's a possibility we could see, pull back further back into the range right here. And this one also pretty much completed it. Well, it did complete its entire 22 bear market move right here. So we were actually also getting bullish this stock when it was making the lows around here. Also, we have the 30.2% retracement, just like Microsoft, but it hasn't really performed like the Microsoft stock. So I think something is going on here. I was just watching this one. If this resistance proved out to be too much, then I think we could be looking at A, B, C, D, move to the downside, coming right into this trend line right here. Getting below this trend line, break of this trend line is going to be very negative for the stock. But right now, the momentum is favoring the stock. But I think we have to be careful of this one. Now let's take a look at the stock of Meta. So the Meta actually came very close to our target, because our target was $800. The high that we saw was 784.75. Yeah, so it just missed it by about 15 bucks, but which is close enough. I think that was our first target. But this stock is pretty strong, but I think after having a gain like this, which is about 38%, in a few weeks time, few months time, that's quite extraordinary. So maybe it's time for some sort of consolidation in this stock. So we'll just keep on watching these levels very, very carefully in Meta. Now let's also take a look at Oracle, because what we are looking at is a change in the leadership as well. So there are more artificial intelligence related stocks that are coming into the play, and Oracle happens to be one of them. So I don't have a full study done yet on it. This is something I will be working on. But we can see that since the April 7 lows, it has made new all-time highs, of course, but it's also a little bit stretched right at the 61.8% expansion of this entire move. So I think it's going to consolidate right around here. Maybe it just pulls back at least 38.2% retracement right here, so pulls back into about 200 to 206 dollars per share level. The largest decline that we have seen is this much, and if we just clone that, yeah, so it's got a chance to pull back to maybe 180 bucks as well. So we'll see that, but Oracle is one where we need to keep an eye on. Now let's take a look at Tesla. So this stock has been under pressure, various things going on here, quite a busy looking chart here, but I think it's important to keep everything in here just because the stock moves a lot, and then we have got a lot of data right here which actually tells us how the stock has performed at our levels. So what we are watching for is this blue lines right here. This is our ABCD. This is our preferred pattern formation which we are watching. This is our point A, this is our point B, point C, and this is point D, which I think which is around 530. Now it's all dependent upon here, which is our point C. As long as this is held about $200 level, then chances are we are in the CD leg higher, which could see the stock actually move much higher, actually make new all-time highs. However, it's gone into this stage, which is a big consolidation right here for several months. It's just gone nowhere. It just keeps on consolidating. Now the chances are this is a higher level consolidation, and if we just take a look at this, we try to draw trend lines. We have something like this, a dynamite triangle, and one of the things that we know about triangles is that when they break out either side, it's a pretty dramatic move, and hopefully the move is to the upside. But right now a lot of consolidation going on, so a lot of energy is being built in this region, and then eventually we are going to see an explosion, and I hope the explosion is to the upside. And if we just break this down on the daily chart, we can see this is the region. This is a smaller ABCD that we are watching. This is our point C in this one, point A, which is what we saw as point C on the weekly chart. This is point A for the daily chart, point B, C. As long as this 61.8% retracement is held around $275 per share level, what I think is we are in the CD leg higher, so we could see shorter term 420 bucks for the stock. Now one of the things is that just look how much consolidation is going on right here. This is what we saw on the weekly chart as well. So really key is for this point C to be held. Now this was the day 5th of June when some news came out in the market, and the market actually sold off, but it went right to the 61.8% retracement. And I did a video in which I mentioned that okay, we have seen the largest single day decline for the Tesla stock, but it also went right to a very good support level, and then we saw basically a sideways market since then. So very important, $275 per share level, because that would mean we are in the CD leg higher, hopefully. Okay, so now let's take a look at some of the other stocks, such as Amazon. Okay, here we go. So Amazon, this is one stock which really likes to do double bottoms and double tops. We have seen a a double bottom formation right here. So a bottom, then a double bottom, and before that there was a bottom right here. Not exactly a double bottom, but a deep retrace here. But this is a double bottom here and here, double top, 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 double top, and this might be a double top pattern formation in Amazon, and it has actually met our targets of 1.272. This is ABCD, this big black one. And then what we saw last week when the earnings came out from the stock, a sell-off of 7%, 7.21% for the week. And that's quite a lot for the stock. Momentum wise, it's still supported right here, but with this kind of a decline, I think we have to, with a completed pattern, we have to be more careful. Now, if we see that, I mean, it's going to be a little bit difficult for this stock for us to see because of the double bottom, double top formation right here. But I think if this 14th of April low is taken out to the downside, it means it's going right to the 140, 142, maybe lower for this stock. So this is what we are looking in Amazon, Netflix. So one of the things that we are looking at is when the earnings are coming out. After the earnings, we see a fantastic move because the earnings have been really good to the upside, and then that's when the investors are taking profits. This happened to Netflix, it happened to Microsoft. On Netflix, it's right at the 20-week moving average. This could be a little bit of support. If this doesn't hold, it's coming back more. But look at for how many weeks it's been selling now. Since 30th of June, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. The week is not over 5 weeks. It's just been selling. So this is something to be noted. Now let's take a look at the Roblox. This is really interesting for us. So we have actually been watching this one really, really carefully. We went through this entire consolidation pattern. This is all in our archive. You can find the older videos about this. Really, really pleased to say that our targets to the upside were all met, and then finally it just made new all-time high. But this is where it was not able to sustain. This is when the earnings came out. This is the pattern I was talking about on the stock where the investors actually took profits, made new all-time high, and then it's just, you can see the kind of candle formation it is. Let me actually go back to the daily chart and show it to you guys. Here we go. So a massive move to the upside, and the invest 10% move, and then the investors took profits, further selling or profit taking coming in the next day, kind of like what we have seen exactly in the Microsoft. There seems to be some theme going on right here, and then these were the biggest declines that we have seen. So let me see if I take this as the biggest decline, and then it has surpassed that. So I think there's further to go in to the downside in Roblox. $120, which is 20-day moving average. I think is the nearest target. So this is what we are watching in the stock of Roblox. And then if we take a look at Zscaler, here we go. So Zscaler has also met our target. Actually, I'll move on to the weekly chart for this because this is where we were watching it. It went right into our target zone, and then we have seen for a few weeks it's just consolidating. I think the earnings are coming out, but in September, so we've got about a month to go. But it's just we have seen a pullback right here. I think it can pull back further right into 260, which is 20-week moving average. So this is what we are watching in the stock of Zscaler. Just trying to think if I've missed any of the popular stocks that we usually like to see. Let's have a look at IBM, how IBM is doing, and you can see that IBM interestingly also met our the target we had set for it around $280. Actually surpassed it, and then it's just going through profit taking. This seems to be the theme. The weekly charts, this has been going on for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, so month and a half. We are in the 7th week now. So something to be taken note of. This happened previously as well. but it's also making some interesting pattern formation as well. Now, I think this is pretty much, I've covered all the key stocks that we like to watch. One last one is the CrowdStrike. Here we go. So we have this pattern formation we are watching for at the 497 precisely, and 500 bucks roughly. These were our targets. We have met those targets. The market has been moving lower, right in the 20-week moving average. There is a possibility of 550. That would be a completed pattern, and then we could see some sort of a pullback. But it met our target. But there is a possibility if we begin to see consolidation and move higher, we could hit 550 dollars per share over in the CrowdStrike. This is what we are watching. Thank you very much for watching the video. Good luck, good trading, and speak to you guys soon.